Hey everybody, Edre here. Today I'm going to be reviewing a new album, and I'm going to be reviewing the new Lany album, Mama's Boy. A bit of background like I do with all of my reviews. They're an alternative rock outlet, and this is their third album. And going into this, I had some mixed expectations. I wasn't expecting it to be the greatest thing I have heard all year, but I really also wasn't expecting it to be bad by any means. From what I've heard from them, I have enjoyed them to a degree. I never thought they were the greatest alternative band out there currently, but I've always viewed them as middle of the road, not too bad, not too good. And to be completely honest with you, this album didn't change my opinion of them that much. You know, opening tracks such as You are very alternative pop rock, kind of what I've come to expect. I do really like the guitar tone used on this song, and throughout the entire album, there's some pretty good guitar work. I got to admit, I cannot take that away from them. However, one thing I noticed on the opening track You, and kind of throughout this entire album, and this is one of my major complaints here, was the fact that it was kind of an underwhelming song, with kind of an underwhelming chorus and build up. You know, the verses and everything seemed to be building up to something great, and then you get a chorus which to me was kind of subpar. And what happens over and over again on most of these songs is that they're a little bit predictable. Now I know that they are going for a pop sound here, so that should be expected, but in many spots it's a little too predictable. However, you know, a song like Cowboy in LA has, once again, the guitar work, nice airy guitars, nice good atmosphere. But the lyrics do seem to be a bit weird for me. It's kind of a little bit so-so, somewhere in the middle. And the airy pop atmosphere does do its best to cancel out some bland lyrics. Now, I'm sure, like most bands, these lyrics are personal to the artist. However, it's just the way they are written comes across like your standard pop tracks out there, and unfortunately doesn't leave much impact on the listener, or for me. So unfortunately, the bland lyrics does drag this album down a bit. But I need to take time to actually talk about the instrumentation, the actual, production of this. A song like if This Is the Last Time and Good Guys have a very bombastic outros and choruses, which to me don't necessarily fit, especially for Is This the Last Time, because I actually was really liking what they were going for, with it being a more acoustic driven track. But then they kind of brought in this really big bombastic intro at the end with a lot of drums, and it just, to me, it killed the vibe. And a very similar thing happened on Good Guys. You know, that's a song that kind of sees them return to some of their synth roots, which I enjoy. But once again, this production, it gets very bombastic with the chorus, throwing the whole tone and vibe of the song off. And this is one of my biggest complaints with the album. It has very minimal instrumentation throughout. There's not like a ton of advanced layers going on, which I have no problem with. I actually like when bands are able to, pull off a minimal album. However, the production, it's produced like not a minimal album, like an album that should have a lot going on. Therefore, you get these really big sounding stuff going on, while there really isn't too much going on, and it leaves it sounding way overblown than it should. In fact, I think this album would sound a lot better if it had a much more lo-fi, much more low-key, stripped down, production. And unfortunately, I think the really, really big sounding production drags us down. In fact, it's produced like a stadium pop album, like it's meant to be played in a stadium. Well, a lot of the songs seem to be going in the opposite direction. A few final real statements about the songs themselves. There's a song like I Still Talk to Jesus. You know, it's about drugs and stuff to an extent. But it's not even the lyrics that bother me about this song, because I actually think the lyrics are one of the better ones on this album. But the religious gospel vocal cliche that pops in here and there throughout the song just kind of leaves a bad taste in my mouth. And at the end of the day, it just kind of it felt a little odd to me. I mean, overall, Mama's Boy is definitely an effort to be making a much more kind of stadium-friendly album, but also being minimal, it sounds like. It's like they can't make up their mind. However, for the most part, what they come across with is an album that leaves me somewhere in the middle. I didn't love it. I didn't hate it. I'm not sure if I'm going to be coming back to it that much. And unfortunately, it didn't really change my opinion of the band that much. I still think they are a decent band. I think they need to make better material in the sense that they need to prove that they can be more than just your good average alternative band. And unfortunately, they have yet to really do that. So, you know, even though I don't have too many issues with the overall sound of the album, there's a lot of other flaws, like I mentioned, from the minimalism to the production to all this, that has unfortunately settled on giving this album a strong 5 out of 10. Now, anybody that doesn't know my reviews should know that anything above a 5 is good, anything below a 5 is negative or bad. So a 5 out of 10 is true neutral. It's right in the middle. So at the end of the day, I was left feeling indifferent on this album. I didn't love it. I didn't hate it. I didn't like it. I didn't dislike it. So, I feel like this is a band that does have the potential to make a really good album. I just have yet to hear one. That is it for now. Mama's Boy, Lany, 5 out of 10.